Welcome, folks. Today, I'm just going to be real with you. Content creation, making money online is the hardest job ever. There's nothing more difficult than starting from scratch. And while you're learning, trying to make money online, it's so difficult. So, just about me, 15 years software developer. Did very well in that field. And then I quit my profession, quit my job, moved overseas, and went into teaching and did teaching for the past 5 years and learned a lot. But eventually, I decided to switch again to just start selling online, to create content, to offer value, to package my knowledge, my skills, particularly in financing, teaching as well, communications, and to put it out there and sell courses that I have built. Now, about my journey. It's been a struggle, and I'm not gonna lie to you. And so you probably see tons of people out there making a lot of money, right? So on the surface, it looks like it's easy money. People are posting their monthly income of being like 30K, 50K, right? As a software programmer, I've never seen that kind of money. It was good money, but not nearly that kind of money. And so that's what drew me was the idea of this just unlimited freedom and unlimited potential of making a lot of money, right? And so instead of trading time working at a company for getting a paycheck, and I have to say right now, I am missing that because doing what I'm doing right now, it's not steady income, right? That's the part that people don't talk about. They talk about their successes, but lots of people who have tried it and who have been buried by it and walk away defeated. I'm not quite there yet, but it's been 2.5 months since I quit my job, just going full time, just pouring everything I got, my time, my energy, all of my attention, escaping from the world and going deep into making money. This is that's the only thing that's been on my mind. It's been this passion that's just been driving. Now, do I feel burnout coming? Yes, a lot of days because there are days where I just want to walk away. I just want to take a scuba diving trip or snowboarding trip and just disappear for a week, right? But that's just a bandage, and I feel like I will have to come back and face reality, right? Which is whether to continue this pursuit or start work again in a company and just be a salaried employee and just always wonder what if. And that is one of my biggest fears is that if I don't give it 1,000%, not just 100%, because I feel like I've given 200%, if I don't give 1,000%, then I will just regret for the rest of my life, and I don't want that kind of regret just hanging over me. In my business, I am a solopreneur, which means I'm doing everything solo right now. Everything from content creation, creating the courses, and doing video recordings just like this, writing copies, marketing, digital marketing, which is a completely brand new experience for me because as a software developer, all I had to do was just learn the technique and write code and then send it off to other teams that would do everything else from testing to marketing, strategizing, operations, everything. And so in this particular role, you have to wear every hat, not many hats, just every hat. And you have to learn quickly on your feet. And there's a lot of trial and error. And let me tell you about the trial and error because it's like a landmine, right? There's, for example, for marketing, there's if you want to Facebook advertise, right? Your budget's going to be 50, 60 bucks a day. And if you get it wrong, you're burning cash. Now, there are other ways, I'm going to talk about that later, where I moved away from paid advertising to organic traffic. Now I'm pushing towards organic traffic on Threads community as well as YouTube here and as well as Pinterest. And so I feel like it's endless content creation on Threads. I have to post messages. Pinterest, I post graphics. It's a image search engine. And then on YouTube, it's videos. It's a video search engine. So I'm learning a lot of new things. And sorry if I digress a little bit, just kind of, just talking as I go right now. The hardest thing about this is making the classic mistakes that I made and wasting a lot of time. And I see that now. And the biggest mistake is pouring all my attention, energy, efforts into building something perfect. And then after months, releasing it and no one knows about it, right? Crickets. It's just silence. And so, for any of you guys who are interested, who are thinking about going down this path, build in public. That's a message. That's it. That is an advice I would have wished that other people would have told me to do from the very start. Having a mentor who could give advices, these golden nuggets, could save a lot of time, but I'm doing this alone and figuring out things the hard way. And making a lot of mistakes along the way. And so part of this video is to share those mistakes. And hopefully, if you're on this journey, let's connect. I invite you on my journey as well and to hear my story. And hopefully, you'll gain some insight from it. But I'm living through the pain right now. This channel is about side income, making extra money besides just your regular paycheck from your day job. One of the most valuable skills that I have developed is investing in trading. I've learned how to trade and invest the simple way and making money from that. But there are other ways to make money. And so that is what I'm pursuing right now is to make money online, particularly using AI. So build in public. And what that means is instead of spending months to build the perfect polished product, you want to put a feeler out there and see how the market reacts, right? So you have a concept and you put the idea out there, and then you get feedback, you get people's opinions, and there are many places you can do it. For example, Threads. And you can start building based on their feedbacks, right? Instead of waiting to have the product finish and then you put it out there and then you find out that the market doesn't care. They don't need your product, right? Or it seems like that. Instead, you're building with the community, you're getting real-time feedback, and from that feedback, you're making your product even better, trying to sell products by marketing. It's a very, very lonely journey, right? And maybe it's just me. Maybe there are other people who did it much better by connecting first. And that was my message is that build in public, connect first with people as you're building your product. And when you do that, you'll have a better product. And when you're launching, you've already validated and you've already connected, you've already built up an audience that you can reach. And so that is hard lesson that I've learned and I'm still learning. The other lesson too is to it's the same thing. It's an extension of it, which is to build up the audience, right? Don't just build a product and then tackle the other side of the business, which is building up an audience. Build up your connections. You could do it in any. number of social media platforms. There's a lot. People say just pick one. I'm not sure if that's the right one. Of course, you have limited time and energy, and so you don't want to spread yourself out too thin. With the YouTube video, it's more of a personal challenge to freely speak my thoughts and to connect with you guys and try to build up my communication skill after I quit software programming and into teaching. I always try to improve my ability to explain things to my students, to publicly speak, to have my students come up and do public speaking as well, presentation. I think those are amazing skills to develop and to master. You're not going to master it right away. It takes time, but 1% improvements over time compound. So reaching an audience is definitely invaluable. In fact, I think your whole business rests on it. And so how to reach an audience has been a struggle for me, and it continues to be a struggle. But hopefully, I'm very hopeful that I will face this challenge and beat it, overcome it. And I was thinking maybe one way I thought about fast tracking solving this problem is to find a mentor. Now, of course, there's a lot of people out there, they will sell you high ticket client coaching programs, and they're not cheap. And let me tell you, months ago, I paid $500 to this person, very charismatic. He sounded like he knew what he was talking about. I think it was more of me just being naive. It was my first time I paid for a coach, so to speak. And so I signed up $500. It was supposed to be a weekly call with him, and somehow he bailed. And as I expected, for the first 2 weeks, it was weekly calls, and then it changed after 2 weeks from one night to a different schedule, to a less favorable schedule. And then after that, instead of once a week, it went once every 2 weeks, quickly to once every month, and then nothing. And so I burned $500 and I thought I was going to get value out of that, be in a community and learn with other people. It didn't work out that way. And then just recently, I almost spent $5,000 just out of desperation to connect, to have community, to have coaching because I'm a trader investor and patience is key. This is one of the skills that I've developed and applied in other areas of my life. I was on a call after putting my $400 deposit, and the way it works is you hear this YouTube personality, and she's a great salesperson, and she seemed very genuine, very legitimate. And maybe that's why she's doing so well because she has that skill in being able to communicate so clearly and being able to sell, right? She definitely has that selling skill. And so she sold me and she said, well, it's $400. It's refundable. Just get on the call with my people, and then they'll figure out if they'll find out if you're a right fit or not, right? So I get on the call, we're talking for an hour, and so I ask him, right, what product are you selling by using her strategy? And he told me that he's just a customer service, but he's very close with her, right? And so that kind of raised a red flag for me. I asked him, well, I mean, you could be making, as she, was basically advertising during the YouTube live, like she was showing a list of all her highly profitable students who are making way more money, like 30, $50,000 a month, right? And so the obvious question was, well, if she's right there and you have access to her as a direct mentor, why would you do an hourly paid job or even a salary job? Do your own thing. She can teach you all the tricks, all the methods, and speed you up into making unlimited money, right? Online, the way that she was advertising. And he just backpedaled a lot. He said a lot of things that just didn't hit the right notes, and it was just a lot of air, right? So that was a big flag. And so I told him that I'm very interested, but just give me a few days. And of course, he pushed it another 20 minutes trying to tell me, trying to overcome my objections, trying to just, use all the tricks, sales tactics to try to get me to buy on feeling, on emotion, because at the end he told me, well, if you're not going to buy it now, then in my experience, based on my experience with all the other uh, prospective clients, just like you, they generally walk away and they miss out on this amazing opportunity, right? So he was trying to guilt trip me into not regretting my decision not to purchase today. However, I was not about to drop $5,000 based on a 1 hour call, right? So that night, I went on her channel and I went to the very beginning of her YouTube videos and wanted to know what kind of person she was back in the days. And the way she was advertising herself on the YouTube Live was she made me feel like she was exactly where I was, which was she developed all these products, these digital courses that are valuable skills that other people can profit from, right? In my case, trading and investing. And that she said that she was just about to give up and then she paid $10,000 and found a direct mentor, a mentor who was able to tell her the tricks, the secrets to basically going from nothing to making $11,000 on her first day of launch, which is very incredulous. And if that happened, that's amazing. And I cheer it on. And that's something that, I was like, wow, I could do it too, right? So I went on her videos and I watched but it was definitely not in line with what I imagined or expected from her because she went into drop shipping business, right? And she was selling products and she was making a lot of money. With that money, she bought a house and then she was trying to get into financing. I think that was the connection too, right? Her talking about making investments and stuff, right? As a salaried employee. But she already made a lot of money from her drop shipping at that time, back in pre-COVID. So it didn't line up what I imagined and was actually true, didn't match up. And so I'm glad I went back and did my homework. So the next day I messaged him and I told him I would kindly request a refund, right? I'm not interested at this time, maybe at a later time, when situations change, I would be interested in joining her inner circle, right? And I meant that sincerely. And guess what? No response. It's been 3 days, still waiting for a response, still waiting for my 100% fully refundable $400 deposit, and nothing. Sent out 3 emails, sent out another email directly to not to just the salesperson on the phone, but also to the YouTuber. So I'm still waiting for my refund. And frankly, I'm very disappointed. But again, I'm navigating landmines in this just Wild West landscape of trying to create a business online and trying to sell products online. And this is very difficult, it's very challenging, but I'm determined and I'm ready to face any of these challenges. And, I'm sharing this to a lot of it just to speak out my thoughts, and hopefully, what I'm sharing with you will help you in making certain decisions, helping you to, not go through the same mistakes and save you some of the trouble of guessing what works and doesn't work. And as I'm learning, I would love to hear your feedback, your comments. If you're on the same journey as me, I would love to touch base and to communitize, right? Because we're all on the same journey. If you're trying to make another income stream, whether it's from trading, investing, whether it's from content creating or selling products online, I think we are all in it together, and hopefully we can build a community and help each other, nudge each other forward and support and help each other. And so thank you for listening. I hope it wasn't a bit too much, but I'm very glad that we were able to connect here. And I look forward to sharing more thoughts and insights and also talking about my passion, which is to invest in trade and make it very simple and easy for beginners to understand. That's it for today, and I hope to see you again in my upcoming videos.